Now before we start, I'd like to make a few disclaimers. First, yes, I am aware that this video is several months old by now. However, since the creator of this video hasn't made another commentary afterwards, I feel like most of my points still stand. Second, I know there have been like 4 commentaries on this video already, but I think I can still offer up new points that weren't brought up in those videos as I start to work on this before any of those were out. And now with that out of the way, damn it, I really shouldn't have bought that copy of The World Ends With You. Now I'm completely broke, and I need money for actually important things like a PS4, a PS4, a PS4. Huh? What's this? Make a commentary, rewarded handsomely. Okay. Alright, I need money! Maybe I should give this commentary thing a go. I mean, I've heard a lot of bad stuff about the commentary materials, but it can't be that bad, right? I have seen true hell. Well, fuck! Hello everyone, this is a commentary, I think. So in a nutshell, there's this guy named Joe Olson who made a commentary on one of my friend's countdowns. And the commentary in question is, in short, quite poopy. Now, this video wasn't made on the purpose of white knighting JP, but rather because this video is actually flawed and I wanted to criticize it. But anyways, let's get started.
Well, looks like it's time to make a new commentary. First off, looks like I'll need to find a video to actually do one on.
What exactly are you typing there? I don't know about you, but it sounded a little too long for just a simple search on YouTube. Unless you were looking for something specific, like I'm reading way too much into this, aren't I?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I have found so many videos to commentate on. Looks like I have material for a while.
Okay, so the way you worded this makes it sound like that you're going to commentate on JP's other videos in the future. The problem here is that the video you commentated on was at the time JP's newest countdown. Now, I'm no expert, but aren't commentaries supposed to be done on a video that's as new as possible? Because it sounds like to me that you're going after JP's older videos, which are inevitably outdated, especially since there's a big time span between many of his countdowns. And if you mean you're going to commentate on JP's upcoming videos, then that tells me you think all of JP's videos are trash from this one video alone. Now granted, you might think he won't improve, but isn't that why you're making this commentary in the first place? To help him improve? That's why you're doing this, right? Loving that low quality text on a black background that I can barely make out. The best in the world. 10 out of 10.
STDS 171993? Or is that, under my assumption, supposed to be 1993? Oh, great! Just perfect! I really need another neck-bearded 90s kid.
Neck-bearded 90s kid? That's racist! Also, just because you acknowledge that calling JP AIDS is not mature doesn't mean that you should do it. Seriously, how the hell is AIDS the best name you can think of to call him? You could just use STDS without the numbers, or Omnislayer, which is in the goddamn video, but no! We're gonna use AIDS because being immature is funny! And not to mention, it takes away a bit of your credibility when you just straight out call him AIDS instead of something that, you know, actually makes sense.
The only way about countdown users aside from their edgy mascots and highly intellectual reasoning, they intros of generic action scenes and generic energetic music.
Okay, I get it. You don't like montage intros. A lot of people don't. But my problem with this is that you're actually making JP's intro look worse than it really is. If you take a look at the actual video, the intro in question is 720p widescreen quality. However, in Joe's video, the footage looks like a 240p square because that's the quality of his video. So that sarcastic comment about JP's intro being high quality is actually true. Also, nice use of the black screen with text and music, which is another pretty awful cliche if you ask me.
Halloween is upon us.
I'm usually not the one to criticize someone's voice. You really can't change it. Or at least, it's very hard to change it. But, Jesus. That voice makes Filthy Frank sound like Frank Sinatra.
Just because you don't usually criticize someone's voice, for a good reason might I add, doesn't give you the rights to criticize this voice either. Even if JP's voice is literally the worst voice you've ever heard, it's not valid criticism because, as you yourself said, you can't change your natural voice.
And to tell you the truth, I always enjoy these kind of countdown, even if I'm not fond of horror-based media. Most of the time.
I get this is a countdown and you're supposed to tell me your opinion, but first off, isn't this kind of rambling?
Not really. I mean, it's true that he didn't really need to mention that, but it only takes away about 5 to 10 seconds off the video. If anything, it just makes clear why he wanted to make this video in the first place. He likes spooky countdowns and he wanted to do one himself. Simple as that.
And second off, which I must be a bit hypocritical here, so take it with a grain of salt, could you really say something of zombies in it automatically equals horror?
Well, he only said horror-based media, meaning that it's not necessarily something scary, just horror-based. I mean, zombies are a pretty common horror trope, so even though anything with zombies in it isn't exactly horror, they're based on horror. And besides, at least in the case of the two examples he showed on the screen, the zombies are pretty scary.
Oh, and listen to an example you actually did mention. Isn't Shaun of the Dead supposed to be a comedy? Granted, a horror comedy, but the horror is few and far between.
I mean, could you really call a scene where someone has no idea the apocalypse is going on and just doing his typical everyday schedule completely terrifying?
Again, it's not necessarily straight up horror. Hell, you said it yourself. Shaun of the Dead is a horror comedy, meaning it's still horror-based media and fits under JP's definition.
Psycho women in gaming. Yeah, because you know what's absolutely terrifying? Not knowing things? Nah. Everything turning out to be completely pointless, including us? Nope. The Uncanny Valley? Pfft. A world so totalitarian and crappy that killing yourself would be an actually wise option?
Of course not. Women are absolutely terrifying, obviously.
Psycho woman, Joe. Psycho. You know? Crazy people? Those can be pretty scary. I mean, it's true that a lot of the things you mentioned are scarier, but it doesn't really make JP's choice any less plausible. Psycho women are still a pretty fitting topic for a Halloween list, despite how scary it may or may not be.
And I'm here to count the 10 lovely ladies that I both love and fear at the same time.
Get used to the generic sex jokes and comparisons. They won't go anywhere soon.
Where exactly did JP do any of that? Maybe I'm just missing something, but at least in the intro I couldn't hear much that could be taken as a sex joke. Or maybe I'm more innocent than I thought.
Considering the normal Hero series has been brought up a great number of times by a lot of countdown makers, you should know by now what kind of person Bad Girl is. Hey, Johnny Assa, let me play devil's advocate here. What if I'm a person who has never watched Countdown? What if I'm one person who has watched the countdown was a member of No More Heroes. Granted, I'm neither of those minorities, although I've never played a No More Heroes game in my life. Maybe for good reasons.
Just take into consideration. After all, do you think everyone has watched the countdown before?
Joe? Did you even watch this segment all the way through? Because if you did, you'd know that this rant is completely pointless. If you would have played just a few more seconds of the video, you would have heard JP say,
But let me explain it to you anyway.
He went on to explain about Batgirl despite the fact that she's already appeared on multiple countdowns before, meaning that your argument here doesn't hold water at all.
While she serves as Call-Girl, Valentine joined her mostly out of self-preservation after her fellow squad mates perished and to find out more about his call art. As in, the one plot device in every character's own story that can grant a wish but turns you into an avatar dead in destruction in exchange for said wish. Are people really so desperate to find this thing that will risk becoming monstrous agents of doom for one lousy wish?
But what if I use it for, say, world peace or curing cancer or sorrow epidemic? Nah, who am I kidding? This is obviously just black and white.
Yeah, but the point here is that the wishes the characters in Skullgirls are trying to make are not necessarily so noble as you claim. And besides, how would you get stuck on something like this? It's just an observation that has nothing to do with the rest of the segment.
Haven't you ladies learned anything from the last guy who made a wish?
Who in all the heavens is mightier than General Scott?
While I do agree that the length of this clip was a bit uncalled for, the way you addressed it is a problem. First of all, I can barely see what you wrote. I don't know if that's more to blame on the video's quality than the color of your text, but the low quality is still a problem in your video. And second, the timing of this text is awful. You say that the clip goes on for too long, then why the hell did you put the text in only 3 seconds after the clip started? The whole clip goes on for 20 seconds. Why didn't you put the text in after about 10 to 15 seconds? After that much long of a time, your audience would have already understood your point. I'd even say that text is not the best possible way of addressing this because you're essentially forcing your audience to watch the clip in its original length. You could have sped it up and put a snarky comment on how long the clip lasts. It would have been more effective, your audience wouldn't need to see the clip in its entirety, and the video quality wouldn't affect the point you're making.
Anyway, Valentine may look like a big-breasted sexy nurse.
Do I have to repeat the clip of Yoda?
He just made an observation. What does that matter?
But behind those bazongas lies the heart of a mad scientist who drills on dissecting, or even vivisecting, anyone that she finds intriguing. All in the name of science. I'm not kidding. If she finds someone with a unique biological characteristic, like, say, Misfortune's ability to dismember herself at will, she will stop at nothing until her experiment is cut open and its secret is revealed. But despite her twisted love for experimentation and new lack of ethics and morality, also she can do this.
So you played 30 seconds of the video without any reason whatsoever. I don't know about you, but I'm completely fine with this. Let me just grab my friend Bleach here.
Tell me where it hurts.
I know I'm a hypocrite here, but can you stop using, like, unfunny clips that drag on for way too long?
Please stop pleading self-awareness as an excuse to be a hypocrite. I mean, humor is subjective, so someone could have gotten a chuckle out of those unfunny clips. And also, there's been only one clip so far that has dragged on. All the others were about 5 seconds tops, so your point is kinda shit.
What, you have breathing problems and can't talk longer than a few minutes?
Well, I mean, a few minutes is the average length for a countdown segment, so...
When you first meet her, she's a very sweet and gentle girl, albeit a bit most of the time. You never expect her to be dangerous in any way. Then she reveals her goddess form, Iris side, and draws her sweet and adorable side out the window and represented with truly sadistic dominatrix in her place. Saying that Iris side was punishing those who getting away is a huge understatement.
He was waping them. Funny sex joke, XD.
Really? That was the point of showing almost the entire beginning segment to make a snarky comment about a sex joke that JP probably didn't even intend to make? Hello, Bleach, my old friend!
Despite that, after the reveal of her goddess form, Bootier has still shown a certain degree of sadism, though not to the extent of Iris art. As shown in one of her SB skills has her using her handmade brushes like voodoo doll.
My friends need to be punished.
What was the point of that clip?
That's it? You just asked that question and that's it? Can you elaborate why it shouldn't be there? Or are you just assuming your audience knows exactly what you're talking about? Because if anything shouldn't be there, it's that question. If that's all you have to say, maybe it's better you don't say anything at all.
Number 6, we have the space waitress self, Vendra Prime. Right off the bat, she is established as a very dangerous and psychotic intergalactic criminal who was put in quiet sleep due to her powerful psychic abilities and merciless attitude. At first you might be thinking, oh come on, we faced the one great villain right after the Fairies of Tachyon. What makes her so special?
If this was top 10 villains in video games, I'd be questioning it. But this is top 10 quote-unquote psycho woman in gaming. So no, I'm not questioning it. Unless you think somehow this guy is a woman, which, yeah, you probably have more mental issues than anyone on this list.
While it's true he didn't really need to make that comparison, he's only using it as a segue to introduce Vendra's character. And also, did you just assume Nefarious' gender?
Crazy women are usually some of the best and most well-loved characters in media, but sometimes there are those women who do their job a bit too well that they are instantly hated by almost everyone, and this is one of them. One scene is quite the interesting one, seeing as every time I see her in countdown episodes, it's usually on the topic of hated characters in gaming, but honestly, I love one scene.
Yeah, bet you just love her.
You fucking did it again. You showed the entire beginning segment because of this one single remark. No. No!
That isn't to say that I don't understand where the hate is coming from, because I really do. I mean, she's a mega bitch to everyone she talks to. Even her fellow members of Organization 13, through that chain of memories, she alongside Marusha plotted to betray Zemnis to take over the organization for, reason. Yeah, the motives for doing so are very unclear. But you know what isn't unclear? The fact that what's seeing worse to make Sora's wife a living hell. She just takes pleasure in taunting Sora in every way possible.
She commits acts of erotic humiliation. Stop hating on her.
When did this turn into a Larkscene defense speech exactly? JP said that he can see where the hate towards her is coming from, so everything he says here is supporting that point. He said literally nothing about stopping the hate towards her.
I'm kicking him to the other side of the room to mocking him for not remembering Namine's game. Yeah, she doesn't hold any punches whatsoever. Also, a whack in the Japanese version is cute yet creepy at the same time.
Yeah, because someone's laughter totally excuses their dickish actions.
That is creepy, and strangely attractive.
Okay, literally throughout this entire segment, you're saying, oh, she's hot, that means she's totally defendable. Let me introduce you to the Dragon Lower Pants trope. Basically, it's a trope fanfiction writers use where they dumb down and downplay a villain's horrible actions, usually due to them masturbating to them on a daily basis. All you're doing in this segment is invoking a trope.
Okay, Joe, tell me, when did JP downplay any of Larkscene's actions? Or are you just basing your point on the fact that he said she was, no, that her laughter was strangely attractive? Because if you are, does it make you attractive if the only attractive quality you have is your laugh?
Remember when I talked about yandere's earlier? Well, here's another one.
You're already dead. Huh. You deserved worse.
Move over, New 13. This is one yandere with a lot more character than just simply being an yandere. Enter the Grim Stalker Tarja. Wait, does this mean she has stalked the Grim Reaper once?
Ha ha ha.
Okay, another stupid jab, I'll just skip this.
Just
Wait,
wanted to-
what? That's all you have to say about that segment? Doing a sarcastic laugh for a joke? Really? Really? Allow me to repeat myself. That's literally all you have to say. Then don't say anything at all.
To say she's the most unhinged, dangerous, disturbing, and fucked up thing is the biggest understatement you will ever make.
Alright, well, she's the most horrifying thing ever. Countdown over.
Who's doing dragged on clips now, huh? Why did you feel the need to display that for 20 whole seconds? Padding!
Alright, raise your hand. Who knew she was gonna be on this list?
なかなかいい体してるじゃね。
Yeah, you really can't have a list about crazy chicks without Julian
Well, I've never played a Street Fighter game, so no, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Just because you don't know who she is doesn't mean no one else does either. You could just be the exception that proves the rule. If you really wanted to disprove what JP said, you could have asked around from other people if they knew who Yuri Han was. And if there would have been other people like you, you could have used that information to rebut his point. But you didn't, so in the trash your point goes.
Remember back at the beginning when I said I was gonna make an exception to the only from games I played? Well, this is the exception. I haven't exactly played any game from the series she's from, but I have seen enough playthroughs on YouTube to know that she deserves the #1 spot on this list.
Well, what if when you play the games, you end up not liking them? Or you just think she's not as much of a psycho as you initially thought? Just saying.
Sorry, Joe, but your argument doesn't really hold water. How would his opinion about the character change after playing the game? All you really need to know to form an opinion on a character is their personality, backstory, motivations, etc. And all of those things can be found out from just watching a playthrough of a game, so I don't really see the problem. What makes your argument even worse is that the game in question is a visual novel, which has the story and the writing as the focus instead of the gameplay. Which means watching a playthrough of the game differs very little from actually playing the game, since 90% of the time you'll be just pressing a single button. That is unless your argument is that his opinion would simply change after experiencing the game again, but he doesn't need to play the game for that. He could watch a playthrough of the game again and change his opinion that way too.
However, as for my overall thoughts on this video, I got a lot to say. First of all, remember Dylan Gutfield's top 10 hottest Sonic characters? Basically, this video is that video of a Code of Halloween paint. But thankfully, none of the characters, to my knowledge, are underaged or animals. This video is not a Halloween video. This is not top 10 psycho women. More so, this is top 10 women I frequently masturbate to in video games. If there's one thing you should get out of this, is that you should stop trying to make yourself look like a sexually charged imbecile by forcing sex jokes. I'm not some anti-sex prude, I mean, I'm fucking 14, so... But Jesus, you're 20-something from what I heard, and you're legit planning on making a video literally called Top 15 Hottest Women in Video Games. I swear to God, people these days are too open about sex.
Okay, Joe, let me ask you something. What in this video proposed to you that JP's point for making this was I masturbate to these women 24/7? I mean, sure, he noted some of the entries' attractive qualities, but that was never the focus. They were either just observations, offhand jokes, or just simply mentioning the character's attractiveness. Most of the entries were used to analyze the character's craziness and why they are psycho women, which is, you know, the thing he was supposed to be doing. And then your claim about JP coming off as a sexually charged imbecile. Again, what in this video exactly proposes that? And as for him forcing sex jokes, when did he ever do that? There was maybe 1 or 2 sex jokes in this entire video, and even then, they were pretty harmless in the long run. And finally, when you mention that you're not an anti-sex prude, you kinda shoot yourself in the leg by saying that people these days are too open about sex immediately afterwards. And since the rest of the video is just the credits and a JonTron clip that doesn't make much sense, let's just move on to the final thoughts. One of the biggest problems with this video is that you spend way too much time on poking and prodding at things that don't really matter in the long run. Most of the times when you stop the video to make a point, it's usually to make a snarky comment at a joke, so it's not an actual point, just making fun of him. I mean, it's fine to jab at your target in a commentary, but when it's literally almost 90% of the video, there's a problem. Especially because when you actually do make a point, they barely hold any water. And not to mention, your editing is poor and badly timed, your script is all over the place, and you use self-awareness way too much as justification for doing stupid shit. Second off, going back to the whole jabbing the target thing, you give off an impression that your main reason for doing this commentary was just because you wanted to make fun of a bad countdown. And again, you can do that in a commentary, but it should not be the mentality you start making the video with. Despite what they might sometimes seem like, commentaries are, at the end of the day, all about constructive criticism. I'm not claiming that just insulting JP was your only mentality when making this video, but again, that's just the impression I got. If you really want these commentaries to work, you need to look at the bigger picture and work on your reasoning. You can have other people look at your scripts, do research on the matter, or just watch the video in question in its entirety multiple times, no matter how bad it may be. So in a nutshell, improve your editing, make sure your script is consistent with points and that they hold water. If you do that, you might just get a pretty decent video out of it. And I'm done! Where's my money?
Yo, what up?
Huh? Sol? What are you doing here?
I came to give you your reward. You know, for doing a commentary and all.
Oh, well I'll gladly... Wait a sec, were you the one who left this note here?
Anyway, here's your cash. It's a grand total of 5,000.
5,000? Oh my god, yes! They weren't kidding when they said it was rewarded handsomely.
Yeah, but I wasn't finished.
PS4, here I come! Wait a second. What does this G on the sack mean?
That's what I was trying to tell you. Your reward is 5,000 gold.
Gold. As in the money from the Tales series. As in fictional money. As in not real money.
Yep. Are you okay, man?
I'm fine. Just fine.
Ah, fuck, he's dead. I was never here.